Welcome to the Stoic Golden Tribe, where enduring wisdom meets the strength of presence, and where we uncover the truths modern society refuses to teach men. Today's topic is, here's what a woman feels during your absence, a subject rarely discussed with honesty, but crucial for every man who wants to understand the deeper layers of attraction, emotional connection, and true masculine presence. We're going to go far beyond surface-level dating tips. We'll uncover the psychological and emotional states a woman truly experiences when you're not there. We'll look at timeless historical lessons, real relationship strategies, and powerful emotional intelligence practices that turn absence into genuine desire and connection. You're going to learn why your absence can be your greatest asset if you understand it properly. You'll see how space creates longing, how mystery builds attraction, and how the right kind of absence can deepen respect, love, and devotion. We'll break this down into 4 in-depth chapters, each designed to deliver real, actionable wisdom for men who want to level up, not just in dating, but in how they carry themselves in every relationship. By the end of this video, you'll know how absence triggers a woman's emotions and imagination, how history's greatest lovers and leaders use distance to increase desire, how to set boundaries and develop unshakable masculine presence, how to cultivate emotional intelligence that keeps her chasing you instead of the other way around. If you're tired of weak, manipulative dating advice and want real, timeless truths to master yourself and your relationships, this video is for you. Like, share, and subscribe to the Stoic Golden Tribe if you want more powerful, no-nonsense advice. And don't forget to comment below. I want to hear your thoughts, your experiences, and your challenges on this topic. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. The Silent Power of Absence. Why Space Creates Desire. When you withdraw your presence from a woman, whether for a day, a week, or longer, it sparks an ancient, almost primal reaction in her psychology. Absence is not simply the act of leaving, it is the art of creating space for longing, reflection, and desire to bloom. Many men today don't understand this. Conditioned by society to always be available, constantly texting, validating, explaining, they rob themselves of the greatest tool of attraction, mystery. Think back to the legends of old. Consider Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor of Rome. His stoic discipline kept him away from his wife, Faustina, for long periods as he led military campaigns. Yet their letters reveal a fierce longing, an emotional intensity that no modern text message could replicate. Absence forced them to reflect on their bond. She admired him for his purpose. He missed her but never sacrificed his duty. That's the masculine polarity that draws the feminine in, not a needy chase, but a confident pursuit of purpose that includes her without orbiting her. Most men fear absence. They're afraid she'll forget them, or worse, find someone else. But this is the mindset of scarcity. A man who knows his worth does not fear being forgotten. He knows his presence is memorable precisely because it is rare, meaningful, and grounded. When you're always there, always available, always texting, there's no mystery, no suspense. You are like water flowing endlessly from a tap, predictable, unremarkable, taken for granted. But controlled absence is like the desert that makes the oasis precious. Absence allows her to project her fantasies onto you. It lets her imagine you being strong, busy, disciplined, unavailable to petty drama. This space activates the ancient feminine longing for a man on a mission, one she must win over, not one begging for her attention. Emotional intelligence is key here. It's not about playing childish games or giving the silent treatment out of spite. That's reactive and weak. Instead, it's the deliberate choice to cultivate your own life, your purpose, your mission. Ask yourself, what is my purpose outside of her? What am I building? How do I show strength and integrity when I'm away? You see, women don't just feel longing in your absence. They feel curiosity, anxiety, and even jealousy. This is not something to exploit manipulatively, but to understand honestly. These emotions exist because she senses your value, but if you're absent without purpose, just ghosting her, going silent because you're insecure, or trying to punish her, that's not masculine, that's weak. Instead, You create space and make it meaningful. Check focus on your work, your fitness, your mission. Maintain your standards and boundaries. Communicate clearly when you do speak. Leave her with positive, memorable emotional experiences. Look at Napoleon Bonaparte's letters to Josephine. He would be gone for months at war, but wrote passionately. He didn't chase her constantly or abandon his duties. He held her in his thoughts, yet remained consumed by empire building. His absence didn't weaken her love. It often inflamed it. Absence is not neglect. Absence is a testament to priorities. But beware, it is only powerful if your presence is also powerful. If, when you are with her, you are dull, uncentered, insecure, your absence will be a relief, not a torment. Emotional intelligence means understanding how she feels during absence. She's not just sitting calmly. She wonders, is he thinking of me? Is he seeing someone else? Does he miss me? Is he worth the wait? Your job isn't to answer these questions immediately. It's to be the kind of man who deserves that questioning. Mastering this dynamic is about balance. Too much absence with no warmth, and she will assume you don't care. Too little, and she loses respect. The Stoic Golden Tribe way is discipline, consistency, and intentionality. When you leave, you do so with purpose. When you return, you do so with presence. Never fear distance. Never fear her imagination. Never fear time apart. Use it, understand it, respect it. Because here's the truth, your absence teaches her to value your presence. Drop a comment below saying magnetic if you understand the power of presence and absence. Chapter 2, The Feminine Imagination, How Absence Becomes Emotional Alchemy. When you step away from her world, even briefly, you invite her most powerful faculty into play, her imagination. This is where so many men fail. They think women want constant clarity and reassurance. In truth, a woman's emotional attraction thrives in ambiguity, subtlety, and unanswered questions. Throughout history, the most desirable men knew this secret. They understood that the feminine psyche is like a vast, fertile field. What you plant grows. Your absence is the seed. Her mind does the watering. Consider the example of the medieval knight departing on a crusade. For years, his lady would wait, writing letters, praying for his return, imagining his deeds in vivid detail. Was he slaying dragons? Was he longing for her? Was he tempted? The knight's absence didn't destroy the bond. It elevated it to legend. It made her loyalty meaningful. It transformed ordinary love into epic romance. That's not to say modern men should disappear for years, but the principle remains. Her imagination turns absence into emotional alchemy. When you are gone, she will think about you, but how she thinks about you depends entirely on what you've shown her before you left. Were you the man of strong principles? Did you display emotional depth and grounded calm? Did you show her you have purpose beyond her validation? If you did, your absence will haunt her in a good way. She will fill the silence with fantasies of your strength, your kindness, your passion. But if you were needy, insecure, overly available, her imagination will punish you. She'll see you as weak, forgettable, easily replaced. This is emotional intelligence at its core, understanding that you cannot control her mind, but you can influence what you leave there. In modern dating, this concept is almost lost. We live in an age of instant messaging, social media updates, read receipts. Men sabotage themselves by being too present in trivial ways. They respond instantly. They overshare. They broadcast their insecurities. They deny her the space to wonder. If you want her to miss you during your absence, you must first make sure your presence is worth missing. Take this lesson from history. Odysseus was away from Penelope for 20 years. She was surrounded by suitors, but she rejected them all. Why? Because in his absence, she remembered his cunning mind, his fierce loyalty, his heroic journey. He left such a strong impression that no substitute would do. Your goal isn't to vanish for decades, it's to ensure that even a day apart stirs thoughts of you. How? Be intentional in every interaction. Don't just hang out. Create memories. Show your mission. Don't hide your ambition to please her. Share it confidently. Leave her with positive emotional anchors. Make her feel something she can't forget. Here's the paradox. The more secure you are in your mission, the less you need her to constantly validate you, and the more she feels compelled to do so, because she senses the difference between a man who needs her and a man who chooses her. Emotional intelligence is knowing when to step back, not to punish her, but to allow her to experience her own feelings. Many men think if they stop texting, she'll lose interest. Sometimes that's true, but only if there was no genuine connection to begin with. If you built real emotional resonance, your silence will amplify it. She'll reread your last message. She'll remember your scent, your touch. She'll replay the way you listened to her. She'll wonder why you're so calm, so confident, so hard to replace. Understand this. Women test men unconsciously. Your absence is a test of your strength. Can you hold your frame? Can you remain undisturbed by her silence? That's why you must have a life outside of her, not as a tactic, but as truth. Focus on, check your career, your fitness, your spiritual or intellectual growth, your social circle. A man without purpose becomes obsessed with her every move. A man on his mission becomes the move she wants to follow. This is the Stoic mindset, disciplined, calm, unreactive. It doesn't mean you're cold or uncaring. It means you're deliberate. When you speak, it matters. When you return, it feels special. Think of Genghis Khan, whose wives and concubines waited months or years while he forged an empire. They didn't forget him. They revered him. He was larger than life because he lived a life worthy of legend. Your modern equivalent doesn't require conquest, but it does demand purpose. If your life is empty without her, she will sense that and recoil. But if your life is full, she will want to be part of it, even in your absence. The feminine imagination needs space. Don't smother it. Don't solve every doubt. Let her feel. Let her wonder, because in that space, true attraction grows. Drop a comment below saying unforgettable if you understand how to leave a lasting impression she can't ignore. Chapter 3. Emotional Mastery. Turning distance into devotion. When you master the art of absence, you aren't simply vanishing. You're engaging in one of the most powerful forms of emotional leadership a man can practice, because at its core, distance is not about physical space alone. It is about emotional discipline. This is where so many men get it wrong. They think, if I don't text her back for hours, she'll chase me. But absence without emotional mastery is hollow. She can tell when you're just playing games. She senses when your silence is petty, reactive, or insecure. True masculine absence isn't about making her suffer. It's about showing her you are anchored in your own purpose, calm, and strength, even when you're away. Think of Emperor Hadrian and his lover Antinous. When Hadrian traveled, he didn't grovel or beg for reassurance. He was the ruler of the known world, constantly occupied with affairs of state. Yet their love was so intense it became legend, immortalized in statues and temples. Hadrian's distance didn't cheapen their bond, it sanctified it. Why? Because distance without emotional chaos is powerful. This is the lesson modern men forget. Your silence must be stable, not spiteful. She can feel it. When you are emotionally needy, your absence is torture for you. You sit there waiting, checking your phone, dying for validation. But when you are emotionally disciplined, your absence becomes an invitation for her. An invitation to feel. Checkmark, curiosity, longing, uncertainty, desire. You see, the feminine thrives in emotional polarity. She wants to feel swept away, challenged, even unsettled. Most men flatten these emotions. They become predictable. They soothe her constantly. They beg for comfort. But the man who knows how to hold space, including the space of absence, creates devotion, because he can manage his own emotions. This is emotional intelligence at its finest. You don't punish with silence. You don't sulk. You don't rage if she doesn't reply. You stay centered, grounded, present to your own mission and values. And when you do speak, you speak with intention. Consider the samurai. They were men trained in lethal combat, but equally in calligraphy, poetry, and meditation. They could kill without flinching, but they also wrote love letters of exquisite beauty. When they left on campaigns, they weren't afraid their women would forget them. Their presence was unforgettable precisely because their absence was meaningful. A woman doesn't want to feel like your world collapses without her. She wants to feel like your world is solid, rich, and disciplined, and that she gets access to it. When you're gone, she should know you're pursuing your goals, you're growing stronger, you're improving your body, mind, spirit. You're building the life she wants to be part of. She'll feel your absence not as rejection but as mystery. She'll ask, what is he doing right now? Why isn't he texting like everyone else? Who else wants him? How can I get his attention again? That is not manipulation. It is natural human psychology, because men and women both want what is valuable, and what is valuable is never overly available. You must also learn to hold your own uncertainty. When you pull back, she may pull back too. She may test you, she may go silent. This is where most men crumble. They can't handle the discomfort, so they chase, they plead, they over-explain, they destroy the very mystery they tried to create. But the man of the Stoic Golden Tribe knows silence is part of the dance. You don't need to rush in and solve it. You don't need to fill every quiet moment. You remain patient, calm, observant. If she comes back warmly, receive her with strength. If she withdraws further, maintain your standards. If she tries to test your frame, hold it without anger or need. This is the emotional mastery that turns absence into devotion. Because ultimately, she doesn't want a man who needs her approval to feel okay. She wants a man who is already okay and who chooses her freely. Look at Alexander the Great. He married Roxana, a woman of a conquered people. He didn't beg her to stay. He didn't need her for validation. Yet she followed him across Asia because his purpose was magnetic. Your mission may not be conquest, but the principle is timeless. Be a man of vision. Be disciplined in your emotions. Don't let absence make you anxious. Let it make you deeper, stronger, more desirable. Absence is a tool. Used well, it's an invitation to devotion. Used poorly, it's a tantrum. Choose the path of mastery. Drop a comment below saying presence if you understand that real power is holding your frame even in silence. Chapter 4, The Return. How to make your presence irresistible after absence. We've talked about the silent power of absence, the feminine imagination, and the emotional mastery required to turn distance into devotion. But here's the truth many forget. Absence only has value if your return is worth it. It's easy to think distance alone will make her chase you, but absence without quality presence is hollow, because when you come back, she will evaluate everything. Was the wait worth it? Did he grow while he was away? Is he the same man or an even better one? This is where your true test as a man begins. Consider Julius Caesar. He left Rome for years, conquering Gaul. His absence was legendary. People spoke his name with fear and respect. But when he returned, he didn't slink back unnoticed. He came back in triumph, parading his victories, showering Rome with spoils. He proved his worth. This is the model. Absence is your campaign. Presence is your victory march. When you're gone, you work. You improve. You sharpen yourself. Then you show it. You look healthier. You speak with greater calm and conviction. You radiate purpose. You lead decisively. Too many men think they can vanish for days, then return needy, apologetic, or exactly the same. That's not power, that's avoidance. Your absence must have meaning. When you return to her world, whether it's after hours, days, or weeks, you should feel like you've been somewhere. Somewhere she couldn't follow. Somewhere that changed you. This is the essence of masculine mystery. It's not about lying, it's not about manipulation. It's about living a life so full, so directed, that your time away naturally makes you better. Your hobbies, your work, your training, your reading, your friendships, these should all grow in your absence. That way, when you see her again, she can sense it. You listen more deeply, you share richer stories, you exude confidence without saying a word, because your life has weight. Emotional intelligence matters here too. When you return, you don't boast about ignoring her, you don't punish her with coldness. Instead, you reconnect with warmth, but on your terms. You're attentive without being desperate. You're affectionate without being submissive. You're open without losing boundaries. This balance is what makes your presence irresistible. She will test you. She will want to know if your absence was real strength or just a tactic. So prove it. Don't over-explain why you were away. Let your calm silence speak. Don't apologize for having a life. Share it confidently. Don't collapse into needy validation seeking. Maintain your frame. Consider the example of King Leonidas of Sparta. When he left home, it was for duty. When he returned, it wasn't with excuses, it was with pride in what he'd done. Spartan wives didn't want men who stayed behind to coddle them. They wanted warriors. Even today, women don't want a man who abandons his purpose for her. They want a man who includes them in a mission greater than either of them alone. So when you return, checkmark, reconnect, but don't regress. Show appreciation, but not desperation. Bring her into your world, but don't make her your world. This is the final piece most men miss. Absence creates longing, but presence creates love. The combination of both is what creates devotion. And remember, none of this works if you don't cultivate yourself in the meantime. Your body, your mind, your mission, your soul. Because that is what she is drawn to, not just you, but what being with you means. Stability, adventure, emotional depth, growth. When you master this cycle of absence and return, you don't just get women, you keep them wanting you, respecting you, loving you, because you embody what so few men do today. Checkmark, discipline, purpose, emotional intelligence, true masculine presence. This is what we teach here in the Stoic Golden Tribe. A new model of manhood that isn't about cheap tricks or pickup lines, but about becoming the kind of man who naturally attracts high-quality women and relationships. A man who knows, check when to walk away, when to stand firm, when to hold silence, and when to speak with warmth and power. Your absence sets the stage. Your return is the performance. Master both, and you will never beg for love. You will inspire it. Drop a comment below saying legendary if you're ready to make your presence unforgettable after your absence.